What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. Today's going to be a fun day. Today I'm going to be exposing the things that has held me back in my business and the steps I'm going to take to progress past them. I'm doing this in real time so you guys can see the steps work, and maybe this can benefit you in some way, shape, or form, especially if you're a dad, if you provide for your wife, if you have a couple kids, if you have a full-time job or two, and you're trying to wholesale real estate. If this is you, then this video is for you. All right, so if you don't know me, my name is Robert Thompson. I've been wholesaling for about 4 years now. I got my first deal in 2020. And since then, man, it's been an uphill battle. I'm not gonna lie to you. Since 2020, I had my son, then I had my daughter a few months ago. In the process of getting a mortgage and getting our first home. My wife stays with our kids. She does an amazing job. I wouldn't have it any other way. But trust me, and going to work's the easy part if you really consider it. I work. I'm a security guard. I'm in a specific line of security. I'm not going to get too much into details of that. Just know I work about 55 hours a week. All right, and that's been consistent the past 2 years. So imagine trying to grow your business when you're working all these hours at work. It's pretty tough, right? So the past few years, I've done about 3 to 4 deals per year, and every year I've made a little bit more than the last. So I made 12 grand my first year. My second year, it was like 20 grand. My third year was like 23. And then my fourth year, which was last year, was about 25, 26 grand. I'm netting close to the numbers. I probably spend 1,000 or 2,000 bucks a year in marketing. This year, my goal was 100 grand. And there's a bunch of factors that played in this year. Recently, first and foremost, I was saved. I was recently saved by Jesus Christ, born again Christian about 2 years ago. So the first 2 years of real estate, when I wasn't born again, I was doing a lot of things that have really held me back. So the past couple years of real estate have been my best years. I've had a clear mind. God has really, really had an influence in my life that's really helped me in business. And now I feel like I'm getting the best out of myself because I've given myself to God, and He's going to give me, giving yourself to God, He's going to give you something far better than if you give yourself to your own flesh. So that's a big factor. So year number 5 is this year. My goal was 100 grand, and I set some goals up, and I'm probably about 85% away, which means I've closed about 12 to $15,000 in wholesale deals this year. That means I've closed my average deal size is about 4 grand right now. I've closed 3 deals, all virtual. And out of those 3 deals, one deal I had a guy do all the calling, so all I did was do the negotiating and closing. And then the other 2 deals were follow-ups, and I closed on them. I have another deal under contract. We're in negotiation with a buyer right now, as it is 6 months into the year. Let's talk about it. My mistakes that I've made, let's just say this year, and a common mistake that I've seen in the past. A quote I want to bring up while I bring this up is, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I think I've been a little bit insane in my business, um, because there's been a lack of consistency. It's been the best the past year or so, a year and a half, has I've had the best consistency, but still nowhere close to what I feel that would be worthy of making $100,000 in a year, or a 200 grand in a year. I could see 20 grand, 30 grand, yes. Um, in the past, it was really bad. My first couple years, a lot of self-sabotage, a lot of months without calling, a lot of just giving up, here and there for a month at a time, a week at a time, whatever the case is. The past year, year and a half, it's been consistent to where I've never really stopped doing everything totally for a long period of time, but it hasn't been consistent to the point where every single moment that I plan to work on my business, or I plan to feed the baby, or I plan to build this foundation in my real estate business, um, I don't always come through with that plan. I make a plan, but I don't follow through, which means I get backed up with follow-ups and things like that. So this year, my goal is $100,000, and I said I was gonna start delegating way more. That was my number one goal. I was gonna have somebody calling for me. Fortunately, I did find somebody that was a super honest guy, fantastic guy. He might be watching this video, and he started doing my calls for me from January to about April. He was killing it. He was helping me with follow-ups. I was starting to manage the business more. I was training him. He actually brought me a lead that I closed on. And when I told him initially, if you bring me anything, you're gonna get 35% of that wholesale fee. So he got 35% of the fee. It was 8 grand. I got the other 65%. No, it's fantastic. I said, yes, I'm building a business where I'm not doing all the work now. Somebody is actually learning from me and he's receiving income from it as well. And it was also a proof of concept saying that I can tell somebody to do the calls, what to say, and how to say it. And then they would come back with the deal. I mean, honestly, that was a big proof of concept. Now I feel comfortable to bring somebody on the team and say, hey, you do enough calls, then you're going to get a deal. But unfortunately, that guy had some life circumstances. He's out at the moment. I believe we might work together in the future, but right now he's out. That was about 2 months ago. In the past 2 months, I got used to it, man. I'm not gonna lie, I got used to having the homie. He was calling for me, doing a lot of follow-ups. He was really, really getting himself out there, getting close to some more leads and deals. But life hit him, and he had to slow down a little bit, and I get it. So that that really hit me because now all the follow-ups and the calls was back on me, and I actually grew the business to do more leads and more follow-ups because I thought I had somebody that's going to be there long term with me doing it. Once that happened, man, it really started to put the weight on my shoulders. At the same time, I had my daughter in February. It's June. At the same time, we're in the process of buying a house. I'm still working my 50, 60 hour weeks. I'm a full servant of Jesus Christ. We attend church Tuesdays and Sundays. We are leaders in our ministry. So we have other responsibilities outside of business and work. And these are just things that you have to manage as a man. Man to man, you have to manage as a man or a woman. You have to manage as a woman. Anyways, so he stopped doing that. And now the past 2 months has been tough. I'm not gonna lie, man. I closed the deal out like a week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but man, it was like 4 grand. It's been tough. So I plan on hiring somebody to do my calls instead of having somebody work off commission. I'm planning on hiring somebody from overseas, something like that. And I'm gonna have them pick up the calls, pick up a lot of my follow-up calls because I have about 80 to 100 follow-up calls a week. And not all of them answer, a lot of them are voicemails and things like that. So that's what I have weekly. Secondly, out of all my deals I've probably closed about 13 or 14 deals, all virtual. Well, my first one wasn't virtual, but all the other ones were virtual. A big thing that's I feel like is um hindering me from maximizing my potential, and it only makes sense, is I do a lot of JVs. I do a lot of joint venture. If you don't know what that is, a joint venture means that if you're joining another party and you're going to split the profits. Usually in wholesaling, it's 50-50. I have a contract, you have a buyer, you find the buyer, I'll bring the contract to the table, we split the net profit 50-50. And I've done a lot of those. I've done a lot of JVs. And throughout those JVs, I probably could have doubled my wholesaling income because out of my 4 deals, I got four for one deal and it was a $16,000 deal. I got four for another deal and it was an 8 grand deal. I'm getting another five, 4 to 5, maybe six, and that's another. It's a 5 to 12, sorry, $10 to $12,000 deal. And then so I should probably be about 40 grand. So I need to really, really get better with my buyers list. I need to stop just doing the buyers. What my plan is this. I think that the old school way of finding buyers, which was basically going to see who bought cash in their regular name, that's washed. That's washed. I think the new way, I'm gonna try it like this too. You guys are gonna be with me. You're gonna see if it works. I think that we need to find out who the LLC buyers are. Because if somebody's buying in an LLC, they're likely to be a bigger fish eating more fish. And what I mean by that is we're typically taught in wholesaling real estate and YouTube to go to find your cash buyers, look at all the names about cash, only do individual because you can't skip trades corporate. What I'm thinking is the corporate buyers are the ones we need. They're the ones with all the money. The individual buyers, yeah, they're cool. They make a lot of money. They buy maybe buy a few houses, but they're not buying dozens of houses a year, you know? So I'm gonna start looking deep into corporation buyers, and hopefully I'll be able to profit way more from my deals. Okay. So the next two things I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be hiring somebody overseas. This won't be my first time. I did it a couple years ago, 3 years ago. But I was horrible at management. I was horrible at managing myself, managing my family. It was just a bad version of me. I wasn't in Christ. If I wasn't in Christ, then it wasn't a good version. I'll say it like that, all around. So this time I'm gonna hire somebody. I'm gonna show them some of the training videos that I got or I created when I trained up the last guy that was working for me. I'm gonna have him do my follow-ups, and I'm also gonna have him do my cold calls. I've been hesitant to hire somebody because I didn't want to spend 600 to 800 bucks a month on somebody, and then have to do that at least 6 months, 3 to 6 months consistently, and also provide them enough leads so that they're getting leads all day. Here's the catch though. I typically have about 2 hours a day that I can work on my business. If you're a father, you're a husband, you work in ministry full time, you might only have 2 hours a day. And that's on a good day. You're not getting 8 hours of sleep. That's why my content creation hasn't really been up to par, but I don't want to make excuses. I'm just gonna try to pick it up because I really want to document this journey. Because I think it's gonna be an inspiration not only to myself, it's gonna hold myself accountable, but you guys are gonna see me go from here to where my next position will be. Okay. So I get about 2 hours, and that's on a good day. So I have to figure out how I can use the hour and a half to 2 hours a day, maybe 10 hours a week, and maximize that to make 80 grand before the end of the year. I'm gonna let you guys know how it goes. But as of now, this is it. This is me. I made about 12, 15. I'll update you guys on my next closed deal. And I got 80 grand, 85 grand to go in the next 6 months. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna pull a huge list. I'm not gonna do any small list. I'm gonna get a guy. I'm gonna have him calling for me. I'm gonna have him do my follow-ups. And then um yeah, I'm gonna really find too. I'm gonna find those buyers because these guys are finding buyers for me, and I'm like, bro, where were you at the whole time? Like, what? How'd you find that buyer from under the rock? I think it's the LLC buyers. I'm gonna find you guys. I'm gonna bring you guys some deals. If you guys want to go ahead and JV with me, go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe. If you found some value in this video, go ahead and say you got some value. We are going to the top. We're doing it together, and I'm excited. I'm excited to have you guys here. I hope your wholesaling journey and your real estate journey is just as um, exciting, if not more exciting. It's tough, it's hard, but I can guarantee you the knowledge you learn, even if you don't get a deal, will be worth it at some point in your life. Just knowing some real estate, just a little bit, how to find the after repair value, how to look comparables. That's going to put you ahead of the game, even when you buy your own house. All right. That's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.